So fine, welcome to the day 3. In day 2, we covered object-oriented programming. Fine. In day 3, I am going to talk about interfaces and how interfaces are helpful in learning Selenium. Okay, I'll create a project day 3, right? And hold on, I'll first add the jar files which are required. All these jar files are added. Okay. Now, in day 3, I'm going to create a new class or a new interface rather. Okay, now basically what an interface is and how does it help, right? Suppose if I have a program, right, that is, I'll call it as multiple browsers. I want to execute one script which is capable enough of running on, right? Yesterday I talked about different drivers, that is a Chrome driver and Firefox driver and I driver, right? And every driver had an exe. Okay. One thing, guys, you always have to write this line system.set property, system.set property. You can actually ignore this line. You can actually omit this line. There is no need to write it again and again. What you can do is that you can go to your my computer. Hold on. Click on my computer and go to properties. Okay. And in this, go to advanced system setting. And in this, go to environment variable. Okay. And in this, you will see an environment variable known as path. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can place all your exe files which you have downloaded into a single folder. Like, I'm going a little off the track, but I'm telling you, right? You can put all these in a folder, copy the path. Okay. Go to your environment variable, system variables, path variable, edit this variable. In Windows 10, you will get a screen like this. In Windows 7 or 8, you will get a window like this. Okay. So in case of Windows 10, you add a new path and give the path of the driver executable. Right. In case of Windows 7 or Windows 8, hold on. Just a minute. Yeah, in case of Windows 7 or Windows 8, in this window, go to the end, put a semicolon. Okay. After putting a semicolon, give the path of the drivers folder. All right. So this way you will have all the exes in the system path. And just restart your PC. Don't forget to restart your PC. Once you restart your PC, there is no need to write this line. Without even writing this line, if you execute the program, they will execute. There is no need to write this line. Now, what if you have to write one script, which is actually, you see that edge opens up, right? Okay. Now, what if you have to write a single script which has to execute on all the browsers? For example, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, right? You want to write that script which is executable on all the types of browsers. Okay. Yesterday we had seen that you have got a Chrome browser, you have got drivers for different browsers. Okay, you have driver for Firefox, you have driver for Edge, you have driver for If I want to write one script that runs on multiple browsers, how do I do that? For example, I decide the browser name over here with this variable as uh, Mozilla. Okay, right. Now you want that whatever code you are writing over here, that should execute on whatever is the browser name. If I change the browser name to Chrome, then the same code should execute on Chrome as well. Okay, right. If the browser name is changed to any browser, that code should execute on that browser. If I use if-else statements, if I use if the browser name is equal to, hold on, just a minute. Yeah, if browser name is Chrome, right, and then work on Chrome, and then I can write else if the browser name is equal to Mozilla, then work on Mozilla, right, and else if similarly you can put it for any browser. Okay, you can put for say I, right. But how is this going to work? Okay, if I create the object of a Chrome driver over here, fine, and I write Chrome driver dot get, go to the website http yahoo.com, and then I write a Firefox driver. Okay, I don't need to give the system exe file path. Okay, because I've added it in my environment variables, the path which I was telling you. Okay, the path which I showed you yesterday, system.set property, you don't need to do that now. Okay, and for I, you can use Internet Explorer driver. Okay, I dot get to http yahoo.com. But does this make sense that for every driver I'm writing a different code? If I have to click on a link in Chrome, I will write the code to click over here. And if I have to click on any link using Firefox, I will have to write the code to click on Firefox out here. And on I will have to write the code to click out here. So it really doesn't make a big difference because still now I'm writing a different code for every browser. What I want is that, okay, a single piece of code should work on all the browsers. So the answer to this question comes up from the concept of interfaces. Concept of interfaces in Java. You will create a new interface, okay, and you call that interface, say for example, first of all, what is an interface? Okay, interface is something which gives an idea about the system. Okay, for example, you go to a restaurant to have dinner. Okay, you look at the menu. That menu, the a la carte menu, is like an interface for you, which tells you that fine, what this restaurant is offering. But how is that going to be? Whether it's going to be as per your taste, whether it's going to be delicious or not, you really don't know. So that's what interfaces are. They give you an idea about the system. Okay, for example, you go to our website, uh, qtpselenium.com. Okay, when you open this website gives you an idea that fine, we are offering QTP, Selenium, Appium trainings and all. Okay, but you really don't know what exactly it is, how is it going to be. So this website is like an interface for you. Okay. Similarly, Similarly, there are interfaces in Java which give an idea that what a system is about. Okay, so I'll create a new interface. Suppose I create a new interface known as, say, car. Simple interface. Okay. And in this interface, I'll create a function like public void start, public void stop, public void review. So when you have an interface and you have the function, you just define the function. You don't give them a body, you don't declare them. In interfaces, you just define the functions. Okay, right. And the interfaces are implemented. For example, I'll create a new class known as Ford car. Okay. So what we do in Java is that we write public class Ford car, implement the car interface. So when a class is implementing an interface, okay, car class, Ford car class is implementing the car interface. Okay, you will get an error. What do you mean by implementation? By implementation, we mean that Ford car will have all these three functions implemented inside it. It is mandatory for a class to implement all the functions of an interface. It is implementing the interface. Okay. Remove the mouse over the error and click on add unimplemented methods. All the three functions will come up inside the Ford car class. Okay, it is mandatory for this class to implement all the functions from the interface. Okay, right. If I remove any one of the functions, you will see an error comes up. Okay, an error will come up. So you will have to implement all the functions from an interface, okay, into the implementing class. And this at the rate override sign, this at the rate override means you have implemented this function from the car interface. Okay, this is just an annotation. You can remove it as well, or you can keep it. It is completely up to you. Fine, but this means that this function is coming up from the car interface. All right, fine. Now you can write inside it starting car. Okay, you can write inside this, that is stopping and refueling. Okay, you can have three functions with the bodies and all. Now, similarly, I can create another class known as, say, Honda car. All right, and I will also write Honda car implements the car interface. If a class is implementing an interface, it will implement all the functions of the interface. Okay, that is start, stop, refuel. It's going to implement all the functions. Fine. And in this, you can write starting Honda car. Pretty simple, okay, but this is not going to be simple as we proceed. So please listen to me carefully. Okay, right. Okay, so there are two classes which have implemented the car interface. Okay, and I'll create a new class just known as say test.java with the main function. Okay, now in this I will start creating objects. If I create the object of car class, car interface, if I write car C equals to new car, I'll get an error. You cannot create objects of interfaces. Interfaces are incomplete, they are abstract. Okay, car is the interface, it is incomplete. You cannot create objects of interfaces in Java. But yes, you can create objects of the implementing classes. For example, I write Honda car, new Honda car. Okay, right, and you will write C1 dot start, C2, C1 dot refuel, and C1 dot stop. So you can call all the three functions from the Honda car class. Okay, when you run it, the three functions from the Honda car class will be called. And similarly, pretty simple. Okay, it's not a very tough thing. Okay, hold on. It should be Ford car. Okay, hold on. You can rename a file with by clicking F2. Okay, so I have renamed this. Right, and you can write C2 dot start, C2 dot refuel, C2 dot stop. Okay, so when you run this, so first three lines will be from Honda and the next three lines will be from Ford. Okay, right. Now the question comes up that what is the use of an interface? We could have simply created these two classes. Why to have an interface? Okay, what I did was I had an interface and I had two implementing classes to that interface. Okay, right. Now, why did we have the interface? Whatever functions I had an interface. Whatever functions I had are implemented in the implementing classes. I could have never made an interface and I could have simply made these two classes. Advantage is if tomorrow more cars they come up, then all the cars will be implementing a single interface. And all the cars will have the same function which we have in the interface. As a layman, when you look at the system, it becomes very easy for you to understand it. Moreover, if somebody else is looking at your code, just by looking at the interface car, you will come to know that fine, these are the three functions in the other car classes. It gives a kind of structure to the application. It gives a kind of discipline to the application. Okay, right. So no matter how many classes implement an interface, all the classes will have the same set of functions. Okay. For example, if I go to the Selenium website, Selenium HQ, and over here I go to the download section, fine. And if I go to the documentation, okay, look, there is no use go to Selenium website and go to the documentation again and again. You can import the documentation in Eclipse. Okay, it's very easy. You just copy the path this path of Java documentation. Go to day 3, go to properties. All right. You will see the main jar file, client combined 3.141.59. Okay. Inside it, you can give the Java doc location and remove index.html from the end. Please remove index.html from the end. Click on validate. It will say that the location is likely valid. That is fine. Now the documentation can be opened inside Eclipse. Okay. You open this multiple browsers class. For example, I move my mouse over Chrome driver. It will give me a small window from the documentation describing what Chrome driver is, how it works. Okay, you can click on any of the links over here and the documentation will open up in Eclipse. Fine. You can switch to the frames view. All right, there is a frames link on the top. You can go to that view. You'll see a view like this. So these are all the classes and interfaces. Out here, whatever is written in italic is an interface. Okay, for example, mouse. Mouse is an interface in Selenium. It represents basic mouse operations. These are the functions inside the interface. Okay, obviously mouse functions like click, context, click, double click, right? So all these, and these are the two implementing classes. Okay, these are the two implementing classes for the mouse interface. Okay, so basically, you can just look at the documentation. You can open the documentation inside Eclipse and you can check out the interfaces and classes and all anything. And basically, every interface will also describe its implementing classes in the documentation. Now, everybody has heard about the word WebDriver. WebDriver is technically an interface. What is a WebDriver in the architecture of Selenium? WebDriver is an interface. And all the driver classes, whether it is Chrome driver, Firefox, IE, any driver class, all the driver classes will be implementing this interface. This interface has got generic operations which are done on a browser. For example, close the browser. Find an element. Find element means basically you go and find an element on the browser, a button or link or something. This interface has got a get function which will load the URL or load the web page. Get title will return the title of the web page. Okay, so basically whatever functions are there in this WebDriver interface, all the same functions will be there inside the implementing classes. So one problem is resolved over here, that because all the implementing classes are implementing the WebDriver interface, okay, then hold on, then you don't need to worry that what functions will be there in Chrome driver or what functions will be there in Firefox or what functions will be there in IE. All the three classes will have the same set of functions. Where the command to click on a button or a link on Firefox will be same as the command to click on a button or a link in Chrome or IE because all of them are implementing the same interface. All of them will have same set of functions. But does it solve the problem? Get function is in all three of them, but I'm calling it separately over here. So We don't need this. The problem is still there, but yes, interfaces, with the help of interfaces, we know that all the three classes will have same set of functions. Okay, this is the first advantage of interface. As I told you, it helps you to have same name of functions in the class, right? In the classes implementing it. Okay, now there is another advantage of interface. Okay, for example, we have the Ford car implementing the car interface. Okay, and out here, suppose I write another function, public void GPS, and inside this function I print, okay, that is starting Ford GPS service. Now this is a function which is proprietary to Ford class. Okay, right. So GPS is a function which is proprietary to the Ford class, and it is not present in the Honda car class. So when you go to multiple browsers over here, or you go to test.java out here, fine. Then you can write Honda car C1 dot, okay, uh, refuel. But this refueling will not be there in C2. There will be no, sorry, not refuel, sorry. C1 dot GPS will not be there in C1, but if I write C2 dot GPS, it will be there. Okay, right. So C1 dot GPS function is something which is GPS is not there in Honda car, so you won't be able to call it, but in C2 you will be able to call it. Right. Pretty simple. Now here comes a little tricky part. Till now we have been creating the object of the class like this. That is class reference of the class equals to new class name. Okay. Now I'm going to create it in a different way. Now I'm going to create the object in a different way. That is, I will write over here car C3 equals to new Honda car or new Ford. Now this line is different than this line. Listen to this carefully. People get confused over here. Over here, I have kept the reference of the interface. Okay, the interface reference is pointing towards object of implementing class. Out here, the reference was of the class pointing towards the object of the class. Now, how is this line different than this line? With C3, you can access all the functions which are there in the interface and implemented in the class. You cannot access GPS with it. It will give you an error. When you create the object like this, you can only access the functions which are there in the car interface. Car interface has got three functions: start, stop, and refuel. which are implemented in this class. When you create the object like this, you can only access the functions in the car interface, which are implemented in the class. I hope you have got my point. Okay, right? Now, what is the advantage of this over this? It is fine, you can only access these three functions. Okay, but what is the advantage? I'll show you. Okay, if I put a demarcating line over here, if I run this, see it's saying starting Ford cars, refueling and stopping. Now, similarly, I can create an object like this, car C4 equals to Honda car. When you write C4 dot start, it will call the start function in the Honda car. But here comes the difference. On the next line, I can make C4 point toward object of Ford car. Ford car, and when you write C4 dot start, this will call the function start of the Ford car. So when you run this, you see that the function's command is same, but over here C4 was pointing towards the object of Honda car. So I was able to call the start function on Honda car. But when C4 is pointing towards Ford car, I can create start function on Ford car. So depending on my choice, I can make C4, which is the reference of the car interface, okay, point towards the object of any implementing class. All right. I can make a reference that RC5 equals to null. Null means C5 is not pointing anywhere. Based on my choice, I can make C5 point towards object of new Honda car, or I can make C5 point towards object of new Ford. It is up to me. Okay. I can make C5 point towards object of any implementing class. Okay, right. And if I call the function, if I write C5 dot refuel over here and I write C5 dot refuel, the functions from that current class to which it is pointing will be called, and you see that refueling Honda car, refueling Ford car, right? Okay. Now this will help us in Selenium. I just told you that WebDriver is an interface and all the other driver classes like Chrome driver, iDriver, Opera driver, Firefox. Okay, all these driver classes are the implementing classes to this interface. Okay, right. So what we can do is instead of creating the object like this, Chrome driver CD equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, if I create the object like this and run the code, a blank Chrome will open up. Okay, hold on. Right, a blank Chrome browser is going to open up. So what we will do is that we will not create the object like this. We will use the reference of WebDriver interface. We can use WebDriver W1 equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, the advantage is, okay, the interface reference equals to new class implementing the interface, just like car C equals to new Ford car. The advantage is I can make my WebDriver say driver equals to null. I can make WebDriver reference point towards nothing. Based on my choice, I can make driver point towards Chrome driver class. Okay. Or I can make driver point towards Firefox driver class. Okay. Right. Functions will be same in both the interfaces. Sorry, both the classes functions are same because both the classes are implementing the same interface. I can write driver dot get over here, go to the URL http yahoo.com, and for Firefox I can write driver dot get, go to the URL http bbc.com. So what will happen? First Chrome will open, Chrome will be taken to Yahoo, and then Firefox will open, Firefox will be taken to BBC. So same reference, driver reference is same. It is managing two browsers. Okay, right. So you see that Chrome opens and Chrome is going to Yahoo. And after this, Firefox will open. You see that Firefox has opened and Firefox will be taken to BBC. Right. So this is the good thing. Right. The good thing is one, see, BBC is opening up. Okay. One reference can point towards the object of different driver classes. Okay. Right. Now, sorry, I can go back to my multiple browsers class and I can fix the issue. Now, you don't need to write all this code for every browser. You don't need to write all this code. You can declare your WebDriver driver to null. Okay. And if the browser is Chrome, then driver initialized to new Chrome driver. If it is Mozilla, then driver equals to new Firefox driver. If it is I, then driver equals to new Internet Explorer driver. So depending on the browser type, the driver will be initialized. Okay, right. And now we will write driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait for 20 seconds. Now, I have not told you about implicit wait. By mistake, I wrote this. It just went out of my mind. I haven't told you. I'm sorry. Now you can go to driver.get http yahoo.com. Whether driver is initialized to Chrome or Firefox or any, it will just go to that browser and take that browser to Yahoo. You can print the title. Driver.get title will give you the title of the web page. Okay. Look, the driver commands are same because all the classes are implementing the WebDriver interface. Once you initialize your driver, the commands will be same on all the browsers. Okay. So now if you run this, this will open Chrome because browser name is Chrome and it's going to take Chrome to Yahoo. Interfaces help us a lot over here. Okay, how to write a dynamic code and all. It helps us a lot. Okay, right. If you change it to Mozilla or I, then that I browser will open up and it will run. Fine. Now, once you have launched the browser, you have taken it to the website. You need to interact with the website. Okay. You need to click on a link or you need to click on a button. Fine. So how do you interact with the components on a website? All right. Fine. So look, that will be done over here, interacting with web page. Once you have opened your browser dynamically, okay, whether it's I or Chrome or anything, you have to interact with the web page. And Selenium works. See, I opens up, it takes you to Yahoo, right? Selenium works on the page source. Okay, right. And when you right click on the page, you will get the option view page. Page source is the response from the server. It's not coming up well over here in Chrome. I'll right click and say view page source. Page source will come up like this. Page source is the response from the server. This is the page. Okay, right. And Selenium works on page source. So you need to understand a little bit about HTML and how HTML works in the page source, right? So I'll take that up in the next class. Fine. And we'll stop here for today. If you have any questions regarding anything, you can ask.